Michelle and Nathan, good afternoon. As you mentioned, this is a historic moment in this country for several reasons. This is only the third time since Confederation that a monarch has delivered the throne speech. It was delivered by Queen Elizabeth in 1957 and 1977. Secondly, having the King open Parliament during a time where Canada's sovereignty is under the microscope is meaningful and part of the united front that Prime Minister Mark Carney certainly wants to portray to Canadians and the world. And that sense of national pride began this morning with the Royals receiving an official escort to the Senate. King Charles and Camilla rode down Wellington Street in Canada's state landau. This is a four-wheeled, mostly black and purple chariot typically used to carry ambassadors, heads of states, and the Governor General during ceremonial events. They were surrounded by 28 RCMP-supplied horses, and after receiving a royal salute, conducting an inspection of the guard and 21-gun salute, the Royals went into the Senate building. Then, after a greeting line, they watched a local First Nation drum group perform. A short while later, the Royals entered the Senate to a packed house. And among those in the audience were former Prime Ministers Justin Trudeau, Stephen Harper, and Kim Campbell. Then, for the first time in nearly half a century, it was time for the monarch to lay out Prime Minister Mark Carney's goals for the upcoming parliamentary session as he delivered Canada's speech from the throne.
Many Canadians are feeling anxious and worried about the drastically changing world around them. Fundamental change is always unsettling. Yet this moment is also an incredible opportunity. An opportunity for renewal, an opportunity to think big and to act bigger, an opportunity for Canada to embark on the largest transformation of its economy since the Second World War. A confident Canada, which has welcomed new Canadians, including from some of the most tragic global conflict zones, can seize this opportunity by recognizing that all Canadians can give themselves far more than any foreign power on any continent can ever take away.
In the speech, King Charles talked about Prime Minister Mark Carney and his government's vision, saying that the economy is only truly strong when it serves everyone. This speech is meant to set the government's priorities at the opening of every new session of Parliament, and we heard just that. The King outlined the government's economic path, stating there will be several GST tax breaks for home buyers. He talked about speeding up the approval process of projects to 2 years from 5. And he also said the government will cut its own operating budget from growing by 9% yearly to just 2%. It was also interesting to hear the King detail how the government plans to crack down on car theft and home invasions. The King saying the government will toughen the criminal code to make it harder for repeat offenders to receive bail. Another big theme of this speech was, of course, Canada's independence, and the King reiterated the government's mandate to define a new economic and security relationship with the United States. King Charles summed it up in the final line of his speech, where he said, quote, "As the anthem reminds us, the true north is indeed strong and free." Reporting live, I'm Rahim Ladhani. Michelle, I'll send it back to you.